What's going on, people, and welcome to In the Cage, a podcast show where three lifelong internet friends bring you lifelong content. This is the first episode, but it's definitely going to be a great one because we have a very special guest and a lifelong friend of ours here with us. For anyone watching at home, keep in mind this podcast is mainly going to be PG-13 rated, maybe even low R rating at points, so listener discretion is advised. And unfortunately for the first episode, we only have two hosts and a guest here since one of our hosts has a family emergency he needed to attend to. So, anyways, we're just gonna hop right into this. Let's see. We have Auzy. So, if you don't know who Austin or Auzy is, he is a new ambassador of the Southern Sabres. He is a father, a husband, former owner of Xgen, and overall leader of many sniping teams that you have probably heard of. Or he's got several thousands and thousands of followers. He's a former professional Call of Duty player that attended MLG Atlanta and arguably one of the best competitive sniping player for Modern Warfare 3. So, Austin, how are you doing, my guy?
Dude, you don't even know, bro. It's been crazy.
So,
What's up?
like you joined what team was it? Team Sith?
Yes. Matter of fact, is a team that I only grinded for a week for.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So,
dude.
for anybody that doesn't know who you are right now, I'm sure a lot of your sniping friends are probably gonna listen to this. Just let them know some of your biggest teams and just some of your teams that you've been in just recently.
Well, should I just start out from where I started from?
Just whatever. If you want to start from the bottom and go to the top, or if you want to start from the most subscribers to the least subscribers, or just however you
I'll
want to
just
do it.
start from the bottom because the bottom is kind of crazy. So basically, I started off on Modern Warfare 2. I was actually playing Search and Destroy. It's kind of crazy. And I was just quick scoping, doing a bunch of crazy stuff. And I saw some kids trick shotting. And my dumb ass decided to set up. And didn't know this man, Nick, was in my game.
Well, okay. Let me give my side first before Austin gives his side. So Dylan, this is before Dylan is also one of our co-hosts, or AKA Galaxy. You'll hear him on a lot of our podcasts coming up. But okay, so my side of the story was at the time I was a competitive Modern Warfare 2 sniper, along with a lot of other people during this time period. This is when Modern Warfare 2 first came out. Anyways, so I noticed the people on my team were trying to trick shot, right? And I wasn't in their party, but they were trying to hit, bill cams, montage clips and stuff like that. I noticed that some random kid on the other team was literally sitting in the back of the spawn, waiting for them to get ready to trick shot, and he'd come out and try to kill them and just let him trick shot, but not really let him trick shot. So I'm like, dude, my team's really calling me out. This kid on their team is gonna come kill me, so he can set up for him. I'm like, dude, this is rough. What the heck am I gonna do? So, anyways, of course I die, and I'm watching Auzy over here. He's setting up for him. He's doing his. I'm over here watching this, right? My teammates are trying to kill him. So, anyways, Austin, I'm gonna let you take it from here to what happens after this.
So I think I killed one of them because he jumped down and missed. Me, I didn't know anything about trick shotting. All I knew about was quick scoping. I didn't know anything about feeds or anything like that. So I sniped the kid. He got mad at me. So I went up top. I know you guys know what terminal is, right? Terminal.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2 days where everybody goes up top, trick shots off the top. Well, I went up there and I jumped off and just hit a random 360 throwing knife from this kid. And then Nick DMs me after the game and it was like, yo, you're actually pretty good. He was like, yo, I'm actually looking for another sniper for my competitive team. And that's basically where it took off. I started sniping competitively with Nick ever since. It was 8 years competitive sniping.
So, at the time, just to give us a little background on what team I was currently on Modern Warfare 2 competitive. This was back when I was under Watt Gaming. It was me and a couple of my friends. We had made a team. It was a competitive sniping team, which we actually got to. I don't know if any of you remember SLB leaderboards, but there was an under-ranking system, and then there was a top-tier ranking system. We were the underrated in the underrated category, and we were top 32 in the underrated category. So at Austin, it was me, of course, Austin, a guy named Jordan. There was a whole list of people that were on the team, but we were really, really good. So the fact that we had to pick up somebody like Austin which was very, very good at quick scoping, or at least better than the average person at the time. Was really like helpful for us. So
I was more of the aggressive player, and Nick hated it so much because I would play things so like recklessly, and I would still come out of nowhere and still win the game.
so
It
Austin,
was hilarious.
what is your biggest team that you've ever been in or ever managed?
My biggest team at the time, with everything being like it was
No,
back
throughout
then,
your whole career,
my whole
your
career,
whole career, your
my whole
biggest team.
career, High Global,
That
which was former Phase, Sully's was in it. A bunch of former Phase members were in that
but
team.
you and Dylan were in Dare for like a solid a day, I think.
It was literally. I'm not okay. Hold on, let me tell this story real quick. So
that's an
me and Dylan, we're IRLs, so like we know each other like in person. I met Dylan right after I met Nick, and we were in class. We were at his house one day, and one of the owners messaged us and was like, "Hey, we would like to have a competitive sniping team." So me and Dylan were like, "All right, bet." So we'll lead it. And this guy was like, "Well, you got to pay us first." So we paid this man.
Well,
he
said to pay for jerseys or
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
Jerseys
so
for the team.
we dropped $150 on this, and this kid took our money, dropped us from the roster the next day. I still have screenshots to this day of the roster.
Dylan, can you verify this?
Yes, this is very true.
He
Like I said, he said that the money was for jerseys for the team, and he already put us on the roster. We know it was real because we saw our names on the roster. So
it turned out to be that he used that money to actually send it to an editor for Dare's biggest Taj that they ever dropped, and they literally dropped it 3 days later.
Well, I guess I do edit videos. We'll say if it's one of their biggest ones and they got it done in 3 days, whoever the editor was literally using that money for probably GFX work, maybe some cinematics and stuff like that. Because that stuff is not like cheap if you know the right people.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
But yeah, like back on topic, yeah, High Global was my biggest team that I joined, and then I ended up getting Dylan in that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a ride, and then I actually got dropped because I became overall leader of Bolt at that time. I was owner and possession of the team.
I think like all three of us were at least some owner. Like I was trick shot leader or trick shot captain.
Yeah, because I was owner. Well, I became overall, and then I became owner, and then I recruited Dylan as overall, and then I brought Nick over as a overall trick shotting team.
Yeah,
but he still had say so of a lot of shit. So,
then High Global kicked you out for that.
But before that, I ended up being an owner of XGen. So like I've been owner / overall lead.
Let's get into that. But before we get into that, can you both of you get like closer to your mics a little bit?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so with XGen, because XGen was one of the at Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 times, XGen was arguably the top competitive sniping team like in the league. Like nobody wanted to mess with XGen. I mean, other than like Skies and all these other like competitive sniping teams. But like, if you were an underrated team, you did not want to play XGen at the time. And then Austin over here owning the whole XGen team, like even had access to YouTube and all this other stuff.
Yeah, but see, the funny story about it was I got recruited through XGen because I started getting into hitting feeds, and I was actually really good at it. And I actually got picked up by the owner, which was Heidi at the time. I forgot what his name was. I think that what his name was. And yeah, so there was 4 owners. There was an OG owner, which was the XGen comp sniping OG owner, the founder, and then he gave the channel away to some other guy, and then Deity, that's what his name was. He gave it to Deity, and then Deity opened up a sniping roster. like an actual sniping roster instead of comp. They got rid of the comp sniping team in like 2015. That's when FaZe and all of them started blowing up, and everybody started following in their footsteps.
So we have quite a bit of topics here to talk about, and we just broke ground. So I've got like we're a few minutes into this, and I've got a lot of topics that I want to talk about. So I guess the first topic that I really have for you, Austin, like, have you ever actually been like done dirty by one of your sniping teams that you ever done? Like, have you ever like joined and they're like they just did some backstage like dirty stuff to you?
Yeah, High Global.
Explain.
Okay, so I joined High Global off an app clip. It was actually random. I posted an app clip on my YouTube channel that AKA Nick edited for me, which is the owner of this podcast. He edited it for me.
Back in his literally days.
2 days later, Nick DM'd me. He messaged me. He said, "Hey, bro, check your messages on YouTube." So I looked at it, and it was the owner of High Global, and he said he would be willing to get me in the team. I was like, all right, cool. So I ended up joining, and this is when I messaged Dylan, and I said, hey, bro, I just joined High Global. He was like, holy shit. Like, bro, you got to help me get in. Well, I helped him get in too, and then I was in there for about 2-3 weeks, and then one of their leaders randomly came to me, kicked me out of the chat. I woke up the next morning. I wasn't in chat. And I asked why, and they said one of the leaders kicked me out of the team because I was overall leader of Bolt.
Yep. I remember
and they were like, and they said Bolt was cancer, and I was like, so you kicked me out of the team because I was overall leader of Bolt, and they're cancer. Okay. I was like, all right.
Well, that's the thing with Bolt, because everybody considers it cancers because it started up and dropped off like 10 times. So
see, that's where it gets interesting. Okay, so I think
somebody got a train running through their living room right now.
I know, right? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
My man playing a drag race with a fucking train right now.
Okay, so I live near a train track. I'm sorry, guys. So if it's interrupting, my bad.
Oh man, so you trying to run right now?
No, Polar Express is coming up in this bitch. But yeah, the funny thing about that is, I think after the first time that I got dropped, I think me and Dylan was like, you know what, let's just like quit this whole sniping feeding thing. And then we talked to Nick, and we got back into competitive. But instead of sniping, we went straight MLG Pro, red guns, sweaty tryhard. And we popped off in every GB that we played, pretty much. I think there was maybe 7 we lost. And I think the worst we ever did was we lost 3 games in a row, and then we were like, fuck it, we're not doing this shit no more. And then we came back.
Yeah. So, Dylan, did you have any questions as of right now? Because I got a few.
The main one that, obviously we've heard about, High Global and everything like that. But as far as we've heard about you being in that and it being one of the worst teams you joined. But as far as managing teams, is there any teams that you managed that has been a complete nightmare?
Complete nightmare? Bolt.
Yeah, Bolt. It was
coming
from the trick shotting side, bro. I was always on top of my players, trying to hey, if you hit so many clips, you gotta. We're trying to get, we're building for this team, Taj, because I think it was Bolt Action, 70 something is what we were working on. So it was I'm really trying to get, such and such, montage done. I need clips submitted, and it was literally pulling teeth, dude. Nobody had any clips ever. So of course I'm hey, if you don't start hitting clips or at least trying to hit something, bro, I'm gonna have to give you the boot because you're not really doing anything. And it was so toxic trying to get anybody to do anything.
Yeah, basically. So I have a question for you two. You guys know how leading is, right? So you got to be a team leader. You got to do what you got to do for your team, what's best for your team. So my issue that I had with Bolt was people weren't taking it serious. As Nick was saying, he was DMing people and making sure that they were hitting clips like they were supposed to. The biggest issue was them not adding to the clip drive for team Tages. They wouldn't add. They would hit, but they wouldn't add. And every time I would ask them, they would give me the same excuse. Oh, I got issues. I got IRL issues. I'm like, dude, we're 3 months past that. You still have IRL issues 3 months later, and you haven't DM'd me or anything? You haven't said, hey, I'm still having this problems, blah, 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 blah. It's all about communication when you're in a team. You have to communicate with each other in order to move forward.
And that's part of the other reason why no other people and or teams respected Bolt, was because the players inside of it wouldn't take it seriously. So that made it where everybody else just didn't take it seriously. So they saw Bolt, going
as
live
cancer,
again and restarting, and everybody's like, oh, whatever,
Yeah, so basically the reason Bolt ended that time again was because of me. I gave the channel away. I was like, I'm not dealing with it no more. I sold the channel. I was like, nah, I'm not doing this no more.
So
and then I joined High Global again because they restarted.
Okay.
They had a different management, and I was really impressed with that management. And then I think they ended again 2 months later.
So you've had a lot of like teammates, because you've been in Void, you've been in Bolt, you've been in High,
Guts.
you've been in Guts,
Extra.
you've been in all of these teams, and you play with a lot of people. So who is the best and the worst? You can give two different people, the best and the worst snipers that you've ever played with, like on your team.
The worst snipers that I ever played with.
Yeah, like who was like in the team that you were like, dude, this guy's like, how is he in the team? He's so bad.
This guy trash.
Oh,
by the way, before he gets into this, I do not say we're not like shooting hate towards anybody. We're just giving our honest opinion. So I'm sure like Austin probably loves you in some way or form. So, but yeah, best and worst snipers you've played with.
There was this one kid. If I can remember his gamer tag correctly, at the time his name was RPZ, which is like Reaps, like not I Reaps, not the OG I Reaps, but his name was Reaps. Bro, I don't know who recruited this kid, but he kept sending screenshots of split quad feeds in chat. And I was like, who recruited this kid? and then
that's back when people were hitting 5-ons and 6-on screens.
Yeah.
And then I think the next morning I woke up and I saw another clip from him. I was like, oh, okay. Well, this kid's pretty consistent. And I guess he was just showing a leftover. And he was like, bro, I just hit something crazy. This kid posted a video of him legit jumping off the roof, hitting a throwing knife, no-scoping some kid, and then he runs forward for another 5 minutes, and the clip ends. I was like, okay.
So who would be the best? Like, you getting to like party up with this guy, you'd always want to party with him, and you just be like, okay, who's gonna hit a clip first, me or this guy? Like, it's just a race to a clip,
Dylan knows this kid. If he doesn't, then I don't know. This man Nooksies. Do you remember Nooks?
Yep.
Holy
absolutely.
mother of God, that kid was absolutely cracked out of his mind. Like, we'd get on, and like I guess like me and Dylan would get home from school. First thing we do is hop on Modern Warfare 3 and start playing.
Absolutely.
Man, we join up with a party of this kid. He's like, all right, bro, let's go. I mean, he's the nicest, genuinest guy I've ever met, man. This kid was insane. Like, he was the biggest supporter you ever meet. Like, even if he was better than you, he would still support you. So this kid would get on.
Was he on a team with you? Did he team with you? Or was
yes.
He solo?
He was on, well, at the time, I think he was solo, and then I picked him up.
What team
he was insane.
What team were you on?
I was overall of Exton at that time.
Okay.
He was insane. Like, I would be playing with him, and the whole time, I swear to God, me and Dylan were just going, go, the whole game.
I'm telling you, we would get in the lobby, a game, or anything, and this man would hit at least one clip per game, if not more.
He hit 3 clips in one game in front of me, and then the next game, he hit 2 more. And, dude, I'm talking every single game, he was just hitting clips. I was like, what in the is wrong with this kid? Kid's insane. And as a matter of fact, he still plays to this day, and he's in a really big team with some really big streamers right now.
Well, he out here doing this thing, dude. He grinding.
Yeah. Before I get off topic, do you remember that team? Do you know that team Periodic Z. It's like PZ or some shit like that.
I've seen it, but I never knew what PZ stood for.
It's the team that Scope and Obey Bam and all of them joined, and all the big players now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he joined that team. That's who Nooks is in. He's in that team now. I think he just recently joined Ion, which is a really big team. But anyways,
while we're on the topic about teams, is there any future teams that you're trying to get in right now, or any that you're at least interested in, where if they came to you with an offer that you would join?
Well, everybody probably was going to think when watching this podcast that it's automatically FaZe. No. I don't want to join FaZe, and there's a reason why. I want Call of Duty sniping to be the way it was back in 2010 when kids were jumping off ladders and just throwing knives and hitting crazy cool stuff. That's what. And I want to join SOAR, and SOAR still has that. SOAR has been a dream of mine since Dylan, like years.
I mean, the first time I met you had SOAR stickers, T-shirts,
Yeah,
it
SOAR
was
bag.
definitely the main one that you always talked about. But
I never once
I
said
can
anything
understand
about
the whole
FaZe.
FaZe thing because you look at FaZe nowadays and they don't really play anymore. It's more vlog style.
Yeah,
So,
in Fortnite
you get into
or
FaZe, it's like cool,
competitive. But... Yeah, it's all about competitive and money with them right now. There's no more. I mean, you still have like FaZe Kitty and FaZe Agony still, playing and sniping, but they're not sniping to hit clips and put up montages. That's not what they're doing. And SOAR is still doing that to this day, and that's why I want to join them so bad.
So, like, a lot of the people out there, they're probably like, oh, who's this Auzy guy? He's trying to, join, SOAR, or he's want to get in some big team. But I don't think they really know, like, what your potential is. I see, like, every other day on Twitter. I follow you on Twitter. And it's, like, clip after clip that you're just posting, like, and it's never, like, quad feeds or, like, triple heads, the basic stuff. It's always, like, 5 rolling, 6 for on-screen, like, it's always something, like, crazy, right? So, like, how many clips, like, would you say, like, in a time span, like, how frequently would you get clips for anybody that's want to know, like, how good you actually are?
Well, with the new COD out now and the kill feed the way it is, I want to say I average about 10 clips a day on just that COD.
So yeah, you're just not like some random like little kid out here trying to like get big. Like you've been big, you've seen fame, you've seen like you've hit feeds. You can still consistently hit feeds even with all these little sweaty nerds out there now, right? Because especially with the COD scene blowing up, everybody's trying to go pro now, so it's harder for like the actual like OG snipers to really do their work.
Yeah, see, and the only person that could really know me is Dylan and Nick. Even though there's like sweaty tryhards on the other team, my ass will still stay in that lobby and still try my best to shit on them.
This man will still find a way to hit a clip.
Like I've always been that way, and that's one of the reasons why Nick hated it that I was so aggressive when I played, because he's like no oh okay.
So, yeah, Austin, are you outside right now? I feel like we had another guest. Mr. Cricket's been going on for about 20 minutes now.
Yeah. I have to be outside because my kid is asleep.
Yeah.
So,
living that adult life.
Yeah, but I still game.
Yeah.
I still play to this day.
So, like, going into like you also you were a sniper, you did competitive sniping and all this stuff, but you also went to MLG Atlanta and you played a little bit of actual competitive COD for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I didn't do as well as I wanted to. I guess because I was still in that sniping scene, and we kind of like jumped the boat like real quick. We were all just like, hey, let's all fly out to Atlanta, to Austin, and let's go compete in this MLG event. I was like, all right, bet. So I had like a day and a half to kind of prepare myself and, snorting G Fuel a little bit. So
had to get focused.
Had to bring my own controller.
Bro, you know, people
making
be
sure I was
drinking G
ready.
Fuel. Some, I guess you could snort it if you wanted to. Some people over here like melting it down, injecting it.
I swear.
You gotta get it in somehow.
Putting it on tin foil and lighting a lighter on it.
And by the way, there are no way that we are consuming the,
Drugs.
yeah,
No,
we're not
we
saying
don't.
go out and do drugs. We're totally 100% joking.
All jokes here. All jokes.
All jokes aside, don't go out and melt down G Fuel and inject it. Please don't do that. You might die. I don't want to know science, but you might die.
And in no way am I saying like I am big or I'm popular. I'm like they said that I'm really that talented to the point where I just didn't make a name for myself just because of how lazy I am. I'm just kind of to myself, and it's more of like if a team wants me, they'll DM me or they'll say something to me. But
yeah. So
that's why I haven't really blown up on YouTube or blown up on Twitter or anything like that.
Well,
it's
you
just
had
more
a tweet recently that kind of went viral. Do you want to go into that story about your?
Oh God.
So this okay. I'll do a little background for you. That way it'll save you a little bit of time. So this man Austin was streaming Fortnite. He was playing a little bit of Fortnite on the side of whatever he was doing that day, and he had a moment where he thought that he should gain a little bit of attention. So Austin, I'll let you take it from there.
I don't know why, but I was playing with a buddy and another one of my friends, and I decided to do a handstand in my chair, and I kind of lost balance and kicked straight through my chandelier, and the glass went everywhere, and I lost my balance because the chair moved backwards, and I fell on my setup and destroyed my entire setup. No monitors, no play. The PlayStation was hanging off the windowsill, still plugged in. My controller, I don't know where the hell it went. My camera, I don't know where it went. I still can't find it to this day.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll probably put that. There's a clip of it, Austin. If you want to tell everybody your Twitter so they can go find it, maybe put it in your pinned tweet.
My Twitter is @xauzy with 2 Y's. Literally, simple. It's literally my most. It's not pinned, but it's literally 2 scrolls down. You'll see it.
So, for anybody that's want to know, it's XAUZYY on Twitter, and that video will be there if you want to go see that. If you're watching it on YouTube, I'll probably throw that little clip in there. If not, I apologize. I completely forgot. So, Dylan, you had a question that you wanted to talk to Austin about, about some tournament stuff we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, so we were talking about, MLG in Atlanta and, everybody coming in, all over the states and you actually competing in that. Just a question around that would be what are some of the best and worst tournament moments that you have experienced, whether it's, I don't know,
Before we get into this, Austin, if I may, give your worst tournament moment, and this was back in Call of Duty Ghosts, I believe you know what I'm talking about.
Oh my God, I was going to say something about that.
Let me tell you this story. I'm pretty sure Austin can vouch for me, saying that this was probably his worst tournament moment that he's ever had. So at the time,
but you got to tell him the big.
Did he disconnect? No, I don't think he disconnected. No, he's here. Okay, so. What had happened was me and Austin were playing in it was our team actually. We were playing at the time. E-sniping was big into Ghosts. E-sniping was the stage up from competitive SLB sniping, which competitive SLB was mainly for Austin. Are you having a conversation with your cricket right now?
No. I'm sorry, that's my cicada.
So we were at the I forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, so SLB was the lower stage and E-sniping was the upper stage. E-sniping, you were allowed to hard scope, you were allowed to use flashes and all this other stuff. It was basically like normal competitive except only snipers, right? So that's what E-sniping was. So we were playing in a tournament, and this was in Ghost. It was a SND on Octane. This was like a map 5, right, or something like that. This was like the last game. And we came down. It was like
off.
Bro, it was around 5 or 2-4, 5-4, something like that.
Against girls, don't remind them of that. Against girls.
This was a team full of girls, right? So we were down like a round or two, right? Anyways, it's a 1v1 situation. We had bomb planted, and it was a 1v1 situation. It was Austin and some other girl. I forgot her name. But anyways, it was Just Us Pro, I do believe, was their team. But anyways, so we were playing 1v1 situation. We had bomb planted. It was back behind the gas station. I think it was B. I told Austin, I said, okay, this is how you're going to play this. You're legit going to plant the bomb far, and you're going to run back, and you're just going to hard scope the bomb, because you're just going to hide and hard scope the bomb, because eventually they're going to give up looking for you and have to go defuse. He said, okay, bet. So anyways, she runs out through bottom broken, out the window, looks around, doesn't see him. Austin is yet to fire. He's still not shot yet. She goes to grab the bomb. He misses the hard scope. Keep in mind, like, this was game 5, dude. He misses the hard scope. She turns around, quick scopes him, defuses the bomb, and we lose.
Yeah, that was the worst.
I mean, that was like semifinals too, dude.
Nick was so pissed that day. I think he turned his Xbox off and never got back on for 2 days.
But there's also like other honorable mentions as far as your worst moment, because I do believe in Atlanta you played a team and got like 250, like 30. I do believe.
Yes, that was like I said earlier, that was a really bad time for me. But not only that, I was popping off that game in that ghost game. Like right off the beginning, I'm talking, we were smoking them. It was like 4-1. I had smoked them every round. Like I was just destroying those girls. And then out of nowhere, they just kept picking us off. And then it was like 5-5. It was game winner, and then I just choked. I don't know what happened. I choked. It was 5-5. I had the bomb planted. I missed the hard scope. She turned, hit me, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
It's got to be a lot of pressure, though, especially in that.
Well, it wasn't necessarily pressure. I think it was more of like I had too much on my mind, like winning the game. What would happen after we win the game? I don't know. It was just ridiculous. I don't know why I missed that shot. Yeah. We literally would have won that tournament. Like, we would have won that cash prize.
Oh,
if I would have hit that shot, I would have won us that tournament.
I think that was also like Just Us Pro had beat us, and then the Team Caliber sniping team, where they were in finals, and they ended up playing Just Us, and Team Caliber ended up winning that one, I do believe. If I could,
that was the finals. We had destroyed literally every fucking team that we went up against. I mean, it was either Nick was doing good one game, I was doing good. I mean, we were both just picking up each other's lack every game. Like, it wasn't just one person doing all the work, or it was just kind of back and forth between me and Nick, because we were, like, counterplaying each other. It was like, say one person was there, I was on the other side, or they had nowhere to go.
No, but
literally, it was like...
I'm pretty sure that was semifinals, because I remember Trips and Zones, Animal, and Audio, because that was the Team Caliber roster at the time for East Side.
Yeah.
Like, they were talking so much shit throughout the entire tournament. Because every time I get on Twitter, or every time I'd like go check into one of their streams, they'd be talking so much shit towards like the other team. Like, oh, this team is dog shit, you know, we're beating the fuck out of them. So they ended up going to finals, which, I mean, obviously, like, they were the most stacked team out of every one of us, right? But, like, honestly, I think if we would have beat Just Us Pro and went on to the finals to play them, I think we would have had a better shot than Just Us did, to be honest.
Yeah, we probably would have beat them, honestly, if I wouldn't have choked that shot. Yeah, I've been... Man, it's crazy.
So
I still can't believe that to this day.
Before we get into our next topic, I do want to take a second to shout out some of our sponsors and give a couple shout outs to somebody. Obviously, Austin, we've plugged his Twitter in. His Twitter handle is at XAUZYY, Auzy. So he's one of our guests here today. He's a very good sniper. You know, obviously go give him a follow. Thank you for coming on the show. I know you got father and, you know, all this other stuff going on. Also,
yes,
Authority Customs, we recently launched our COVID August collection of the podcast merchandise. It's the Southern Sabres hipster logo. You can find that at aporiacustoms.com/collections/Southern Sabres, which that's our new collection. You know, it looks really good with a couple hoodies, a couple t-shirts that came out. And if you use code SABER, SABER, you can save 10% on your purchase. So obviously, like, go check them out. It's actually really good merchandise. It's not like a gamer, you know, like nerdy looking wear. It's really good merchandise. Like, I'm 100% behind a couple shipments. So
yes.
One more sponsor that I do want to shout out, Implex Studios. They do all of our design work and they edit our videos. So obviously, shout out to them. We've been partnered with them for a very long time. They do really, really good work. Once again, shout out if you ever want any design work, be sure to hit them up at Implex Studios on Twitter. So back to what we were saying. Actually, that's
the answer.
Yeah,
the answer to Dylan. The answer to Dylan's question, like what was my best moment? I think my best moment in MLG COD or just like tournaments in general.
Or. Yeah, just
tournaments.
Tournaments in general.
Tournaments in general. I think Nick could probably vouch for me on this one. Was when it was me, him, Mink, which couldn't make it today. Sadly he couldn't make it to the podcast. But
yeah, some little kid's shit with his PC, but that's a different story.
Mink is an old buddy of ours. We've known him for years. I was Nick promoted me as the Slayer. Mink was he was our anchor, and then you had Nick as OBJ, and then who was our other OBJ, Nick? Was it Loud? Was it Loud?
Yeah,
it was Loud. I think it was Loud.
It might have been. It was either Loud or probably it had to have been Loud.
It was BO2. We were in the what was it? The league play finals is when I clutched a 1v.
You're talking about GB finals. You're talking about GB finals.
Yes, GB finals. We were on BO2. What the fuck was that? All right. Anyways,
my man just got attacked.
Anyways, it was MLG GB finals. It was on BO2. We were on what map was it? Damn it! What map was it? Let me think of it.
Talk about the fountain in the middle. We talk about slums.
Yes, 1v. It was when I had the search and destroy. It was last round 5-5. Same as Ghost. It was all up to me. I clutched a 1v4 win for the GB finals. That was probably my best moment.
Oh,
1v4.
We were on defense too, weren't we? We were it wasn't off. We were on defense.
Yeah, they had to plant the bomb, and it was all up to me to either take them all out or
bro,
go for the ninja defuse.
Competitive sniping was it was good, but I definitely think it could have been better. It could have been way better.
I made one of the craziest 1v4 clutches out of my whole entire MLG career. That was one of the craziest. I mean, I was hitting shots like Nick had never seen before.
So, Dylan, I also want your input on this as long as Austin's, because this is a pretty controversial topic that's going on right now, like outside of, our typical, game stuff. So, Austin, I want your input on this, and then I'll ask Dylan what his input is. So, the CDL, the Call of Duty League, that's, instead of having all these esports teams, make, their own, go to events now, they're having actual city league where Dallas has their own team, Florida has a team, Chicago, all these cities have made their own team, right? And they recruited all these players. They're actually giving them salaries and fines and all this other stuff. Anyways, the CDL championship, the Call of Duty League championship, is coming up. It's in August, right? And since COVID has been such a big factor, ain't nobody going to events or anything like that because they can't host them because of COVID. So what they're doing is the CDL championship is going to be online instead of at a LAN. So you're obviously going to have connection issues and stuff like that. So what you're playing for $2 million, right? On an online game where connection is a huge factor. You could lag out. Somebody DDoS you. All this other stuff could be a big factor. So Austin, okay, imagine you're in a game 5 in the finals, round 11. 1v1 situation, and somebody fucking DDoSes you, dude.
Honestly, if somebody were to DDoS me, I would look at it as they should be disqualified. Their entire team.
No, I mean somebody watching your stream, they grab your IP address and send all these packets through your router and just DDoS you. Not even somebody you're playing, just somebody that's in the stream watching.
I would I would take that and save that recording and show it to the host of the whole tournament and show them that it was not my fault.
But obviously, like it's a
Somebody,
$2 million game. They're not gonna reset it for you because you and like along with
yeah,
nine other
yeah,
pro
no,
players. Like it's like I'm just saying like online compared to LAN is so like
yeah,
it's toxic, dude.
yeah. I don't know. I would be pretty upset and probably would want to punch this kid in the teeth. Like I'd probably want to break his jaw because some of these people actually do this for a living, and this is how they pay their bills, how they support their family. And for someone to just come in there and just not be like just be thoughtless and not think about other people's lives and ruin that
Yeah.
chance for that person, that's just horrible. Like, why would you want to do that to
Well,
someone?
I think for a $2 million tournament, a prize pool, I really don't think you're supporting your family at that point. I think you're living pretty well off.
Yeah, no, but anybody can any team can
Yeah, I
really
get what you're
sign
saying.
up.
Yeah.
Like any team can qualify. It takes practice, but if your family is willing to let you do that, and show that you can do it, maybe some of these kids in their mind are like, I want to do it for my family because we're not living right.
So, Dylan, what's your take on this? What do you think about the whole online versus LAN situation for champs?
I mean, obviously, you gotta find with this whole COVID situation. You have to find like certain ways to make things work. So, like for instance, baseball. They're having no fans in the crowd. I don't know if NFL has come to agreements with anything yet, but with online gaming, I mean, me personally, I feel like they should just hold off because with the whole DDoSing thing, like that's the kind of thing that like especially with that sum of money, like that can change somebody's life. Like even if like it's someone who's not very known, like that kind of money can change somebody's life forever.
Yeah.
And for somebody to like mess that up and then they just be like, "Oh, well, you disconnected. We can't really restart the game." And even if they did restart the game, what if it had a different outcome than what was about to happen? So me personally, I just feel like they should wait honestly until they can get back to LAN, or even if they host an event, just
Yeah.
have the certain amount of teams there and that's it. Like no spectators or anything like that. Like they definitely got to find a different way than what's happening because for people to be DDoSing each other, I mean it's not cool.
It's childish. It really is. It's childish.
So
Like he
imagine,
was saying, it could change someone's life. That's
Yeah.
basically what I was saying. Like some of those kids want to do this for a living, and for someone to mess that up and take that away from them, that's just thoughtless. That's childish.
so with the,
Austin, let me ask you a quick side question real quick. If you won $2 million, what would you do with it?
What would I do with it? I would invest it.
I think me and Dylan would know what we would do with it. We were talking about this for the past few days.
Yeah.
Bro,
Honestly,
$2 million.
I would.
I'm buying a lot, bro. I'm building all y'all houses. Like we will live
I'm gonna.
together.
Honestly, I would take half of that, throw it into into an account, let it gain interest, and like invest in it. Use the other to open up a Southern Sabers house, and just get members in there, have them stream. Open up the organization a little bit.
So what me and Dylan have been talking about these past few days with the, obviously like $2 million. That's not like a lot to work with for this project. But honestly, like I'd like pay off student loans, pay off all my debt. Maybe buy a little house somewhere. Say like a dream home or something for $2 million. Just chill and then set the rest of it back and just live off of it, right? But let's say, assuming it was a big, like a Fortnite, like $10 million one, right? This is what me and Dylan have been talking about. So we go off to like, I'm not gonna say location just in case we actually decide to fall through with this. I don't want anybody knowing where we live and we get famous. So anyways, so assuming like we go off, we buy a lot, a big like I don't know 20, 30 acre lot. Dylan would build a dream home there. I'd build a dream home there. Have you build a dream home there? Just whoever, just using you as an example, right? And we'd all like have our own little homes in a nice little gated off area just for us, just to the Southern Sabres lot. So I thought
Yeah.
that'd be pretty interesting and have like a little game house in the middle with like a pool and like have all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So, okay, back to the CDL, the DDoS whole situation. You know, because on the CDL, like right now, they're all playing from home. They're like live streaming. They got their webcam, so their webcams are going. Imagine like you're playing a game, right? You're in the finals or whatever, and somebody swats you. So you're literally in the middle of a CDL championship, getting your ass beat by a cop, dude.
Bro,
hold up, I got
honestly,
1v1. Hold on.
Honestly, I would just look at them and be like, man, I'm just playing video games. Does it really look like I'm trying to
Bro, I'm playing for
kill
$2 million.
anybody?
Leave me the fuck alone.
I'm like, man, does it really look like I'm doing anything wrong? Like, honestly, that's exactly what I would look at. I would hold my hands up. And if they want me to, I'll strip into my boxers so they know I ain't got nothing under me.
So,
I'm literally sitting here snorting G Fuel playing video games. What do you...
Bro, they walk in think it's cocaine. Like, no, it's just powder, dude. So, okay, so
You want some? It'll make you shoot faster.
I came to the conclusion today while I was, thinking about, all these Call of Duty statistics and stuff. Like, out of every Call of Duty lobby out there, right? Think of all the players, all the lobbies that are going on right now. If you really think about it, 50% of the population are winners and 50% are losers. I mean, obviously you're going to have your fluctuation. Like, yeah, I'll win this game, I'll lose this game. But consistently, you're going to have 50% of the players are going to be consistent winners. They're going to have a positive KD, right? And the other 50% are going to have a negative KD.
Yep.
So I was like, wow, that's crazy. Which percentage do you fall in? Like, I'm definitely in the top 50. Like, 100%, I'm in the top 50%. Like, I'm
Hey,
not
honestly, I haven't played competitive in a minute, so I'd probably say I'm in the 50% losing side.
So everybody that's out
don't
there,
get me wrong.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. When I'm sniping and I'm playing hardpoint on the new COD, I know every single rotation. If I wanted to win, I would win. But 95% of the time, I'm playing just to snipe these kids and just destroy them, get as many kills as I can.
So if you're a listener right now, go on your Call of Duty account. Look at your KD. If you are below a 1 KD, my friend, you are in the bottom 50% of all the players. But if you're above a 1, I mean, obviously you got to account for like, oh, I killed myself with a grenade. But no, like in general, like if you just look at your KD, you're either in the top half or the bottom half of the percentage.
Yeah. Oh man, it's been a ride though, for real. Like I can't believe I've came this far, and I still haven't made a name for myself.
Hey, you're getting up there, my guy. Like you're definitely one of the most underrated people I've seen right now. You're consistently hitting clips. Like I know people that are in Soar, Obey, even like FaZe. Like I don't want to like I'm nowhere in any position to be bringing anybody down. But like there are people that are in these big teams that are not hitting clips. Like they don't even post clips. They're literally taking up a spot on the roster. Whereas people like you are out here grinding, hitting 10, 20 clips a day, and like you're not. You're still in these little teams.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, for anybody who's listening, like, I see myself as still the same sniper I was back when Modern Warfare 3 came out. Yeah, I don't hit, like, fucking 7-ons and, 5-and-1s and shit like that. But I still hit some crazy 5-ons that have some nasty shots in them, or, like, some random 180s or Noskinders. But the COD scene now, it's all about variety. So, like, I don't know if some of these people that know, or that the team that I'm in, the Sith, Snipers and Sith, they're all about variety. So, like, you get a kill, pick one up off the ground, get another kill, swap, get another kill, pick another gun up off the ground, knife, throw a knife, those kind of clips. That's how the COD scene is now. It's not sniping anymore. It's trying to be, what do you call it? Different, I guess. Just trying to get a lot of kills with different weapons in the kill feed. No, I want it to go back to where it used to be. Like, I want everybody to, still have fun with it and not try to stress themselves out to try to be better than somebody. Like, it's not about that. It's about, doing what you love and having fun with it, And that's why I'm still sniping to this day, because I still do the same thing I did back when it all started. I still snipe people with a sniper, not pick up a red gun, kill another guy. Throw a knife.
Yeah, somebody
You know what I'm
quote this
saying?
man. We're gonna make a book of Auzy, and we're gonna make that the title page right there.
But yeah, don't get me wrong. This stuff's cool. Like it's
Yeah,
cool. It's awesome. Like, but sometimes it's like it's kind of boring. Like I like to see nasty like shots, like people just hitting a random black scope, like for like the last kill, and it'd be a 5 on screen, or non-skinners. Those are still crazy cool. Those are disgusting. Don't get me wrong. I've hit one of those. I've
so
hit some.
with the last 15 20 minutes that we are doing this podcast, let's I want to start doing where we just talk about a random fun topic, that's outside of gaming, outside of the real world, just a fun topic where we all get all our opinions on it. So the topic that me and Dylan had picked for this video was Austin, have you had any paranormal activity in your life? Have you ever like seen or heard or witnessed something that you just can't explain, or is it just that you not believe in ghosts at all?
I wouldn't say I believe in ghosts, but I believe in spirits.
Okay. Have you ever had
And
like anything
Nick
weird
has
happen?
been at. Yes, Nick's been in my party. Yep.
Well, I'll probably don't
Yeah.
remember. You have to refresh my brain.
Okay. I don't know if you. It was a time when I lived at my grandmother's, but it was it was at my grandmother's house when we lived with her for years. Like we lived with her for a while because my parents were in debt and they had to pay all that off before they could buy a new house. Anyways, I swear up and down this fucking house was haunted. I swear. Because I'd come out there and I would put a cup down on the table. I would come back and that cup would be on the other side of the room. I shit you not. I swear to God. And we had and she had mannequins in the house. Like who in their who in their you can ask Dylan, he can vouch for me. My grandmother had mannequins. She had mannequins in this house. She had 3 of them. She had an old dude with glasses that was standing straight up, holding his nipples. She had another one that would sit down with his hand on his arm, that would sit at the end of the stairs. So when I come down the end of the stairs, he's just sitting there. And then she had one that would stand up in her room. Like, how in the hell can you sit there and have a mannequin standing over your head? Anyways.
I remember
but I
first times I came over there and I experienced that mannequin and I about shit my pants, not going to lie.
Mannequin say y'all yeet.
Dylan walked around the corner and that mannequin was sitting on the stair, and I swear to God I've never seen this man jump so hard in his life. I thought it was Halloween. This man jumped so hard.
It's just not one of those things that you normally see, so.
Yeah, but anyways, back to the topic of the scariest shit. I think the scariest shit was I shit you not, bro. I'm not kidding. This actually happened. It was fucking weird. Do you guys know the Chucky doll?
Yeah.
Okay. My grandmother is obsessed with Halloween, and she loves to scare the shit out of kids. She loves it. Well, she decided to buy the Chucky doll and the Chucky bridesmaid. And I used to be one of those people that were scared as shit of that thing. So I would sit there and I would hide it in the closet. Like, away from my room. I would hide it in the closet. I came out one day, and I swear to God, that thing fell from the fucking top of the upstairs? You know my grandmother's house, Dylan. Upstairs?
Yeah, absolutely.
That motherfucking thing fell down as soon as I walked in the kitchen and fell on the couch. I swear to God. On my life. That thing fell from the top.
It's a surprise
onto the couch. I looked up there. There was nobody there. My grandmother was asleep. So there was nobody there.
His grandmother also lived downstairs too.
So I was downstairs and she was downstairs. So she couldn't have done it. And my mom and my brother and my sister and all of them at the time, they lived up there, but they were asleep. Asleep. I was the only one that was up grinding every night. Playing Call of Duty.
So Dylan, do you have any stories?
I personally have had no stories other than walking in a room. Like at this house, there's what are those lights that you call them that they're very long? It's a long strip light, but it hangs up in the ceiling. Yeah. Other than turning the light on and it stays on for a minute and then just randomly cuts off and then comes back on. I mean,
yeah, it's just flicker.
Yeah. Which me personally, I mean, like Austin, I don't really believe in ghosts, but I believe in spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, ghosts. Like when you say there's a ghost, you're thinking of like a stupid dumb fuck that has a white sheet over his head with
I think a Call of Duty ghost
Crayola marker on his eyeballs.
So I'm about to blow y'all's mind with some of my stories. So recently, or I don't know, I got a new house, right? Me and my fiance got settled in, and shortly after we had got settled into this house, we were exploring, getting everything set up. We went into the attic to look around, and the only thing in this attic was a mirror shaped in like an octagon shape. So I'm like,
why is this gonna be so funny?
Cool. I don't know where it came from. So I called the owner and I was like, hey, what's this mirror up here? Like, is this the previous owners? Like what? And he said, no, like you can throw it away. We don't know what it is. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna throw it away because it looks pretty cool. So it's hanging up in our dining room. I had to fix it up because it was like broke. Anyways, I fixed it, hung it up. And ever since I hung this mirror up, there has been stuff happening in my house that I cannot explain. It doesn't. My fiance, she doesn't see or hear anything, but I've seen things move. I've heard things move. I've even had doors open. I've got video footage on my phone of doors opening. So it's real crazy. But as of recently, the story that I'm really building up to was not last night, but the night before. I've had stuff happen. I'm not really too scared because it doesn't affect me. So I'm not really too, until I start getting hurt and scared to go to bed. I'm not really I'm not thinking about it. Anyways, so I woke up at 4:00 one night. It was a real, it was dark. We keep our room fairly dark. So I wake up, I exit my deep sleep. I go into that little light sleep to where it's I'm aware of what's going on in the room, but I'm really not using brain power,
Yeah.
So I wake up because my doorknob is creaking. When you turn it too far, it'll actually creak. So it creaks. So of course I wake from my deep sleep and I'm like, okay, well, my fiance's going there to get a late night snack or something. So I kind of doze back off. And then I hear the cabinets go off in the kitchen, and I'm like, okay, well, she's in there getting some food. Well, the cabinets keep going off for 5 minutes. Open, close, open, close, open, close. I'm like, are you gonna get a fucking snack? What are you doing in there? So anyways, about the same time that I'm sitting here, dude, just get a snack and come back to bed, for real. I feel her roll over in the bed. And keep in mind, it's just us in the house and our little cat, right? And our cat's obviously not gonna open a fucking door in a cabinet. So I'm I feel her roll over in the bed. I'm like, hold up, wait. So I'm kind of more awake at this point. So I'll throw my arm over and feel if she's in the bed. Well, she's in the bed. I'm like, dude, are we getting robbed right now? For real? The first thing I thought, oh, dude, we're getting robbed. Somebody's in our house robbing us. So of course I walk down the hallway, kind of peek into the kitchen where the sound's coming from. And no lights are on, ain't nobody in there. And of course there's no sound anymore. So I'm like, okay, well, I went and checked the bedroom, make sure they didn't run into the spare bedroom, the movie room, the other bathroom. I went and checked all these rooms to make sure there ain't nobody in there, right? Ain't nobody in there, so I'm like, okay, well, it must be, a ghost again for whatever reason. I'm just hearing stuff, or maybe I'm tired. I'm making all these excuses to say hey, there ain't nobody in the house. I'm trying to calm myself down. Yeah. Walking back to the bedroom, and to get to our bedroom, you have to pass the garage. Anyway, so I walk to the bedroom, and at the corner of my eye, I see the garage. There's something in the garage, beside my car. So I'm like, okay, I'm looking out the garage door. I'm thinking it's my reflection or my shadow because I had the lights on in the house at the time. Anyways, so I'm doing all this weird movement, I'm flaring my arms, walking back and forth, trying to make sure it's not me. And it's not doing any of this. And all of a sudden, after 30 seconds, maybe 20, 30 seconds after me sitting there doing all this crazy stuff, it starts walking towards the door, dude. And I'm so I'm my adrenaline starts running. I get goosebumps. I'm sitting there screaming for my fiance. I'm like, hey, wake the fuck up. Somebody's in the garage. I don't know who it is, what it is. Somebody's in the garage. So I'll run back to the bedroom, shut the door, turn the lights off or whatever. And I'm in there freaking out. And she's like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So anyways, she gets up, grabs a taser, and she goes and scouts the house out or whatever. So I follow her out there. I turn on all the lights in the house, even the garage light. Ain't nobody there, dude. So, of course, we go back and we sit back down in the bedroom after she scouts the house out. And I'm sitting there explaining to her, hey, like this mirror is like some serious stuff. And she's like, well, we got to get rid of it. Like, I believe that you're seeing this stuff and hearing this stuff, but it's not like, it's not affecting me. So if we can get rid of the mirror if it helps you, soothe your body. I was like, okay, cool. Anyway, so as we're sitting in the bedroom talking about this, the cabinets start going off again, dude. Like, I hear 2 bangs. I'm like, did you just hear that? And she goes, hear what? I said, you didn't just hear the cabinets hit. And she goes, no, I guess I wasn't paying attention. So, like, I don't know if I'm crazy. I explained the story to people at work. Some people think I'm crazy. Some people actually thinking, like, I'm actually, like, haunted or something like that. But, dude,
Yeah.
I'm, like, this house is weird, dude. This mirror, I don't know if it's the mirror or it's the house, but this place is weird.
Go put that mirror back in the attic.
Bro, you might want to throw that thing away. Go burn it.
But anyways, we just...
Is that mirror facing another mirror?
No, it's in our dining room hanging up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was about to say, because normally when a mirror is facing another mirror, that acts as a portal, as the books and the movies say.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I believe in that, but I do believe in spirits. I can tell you that.
Well, I guess...
Because what else could do that? I don't know. God trying to tell you to get your ass up, go find another job?
Well, we just hit our 1 hour mark for the podcast. So, Austin, if you want to plug any of your Twitch or Twitter or YouTube or whatever you want to plug in, go ahead and do that, and we'll wrap this up.
Like he said, Auzy is my Twitter with 2 Y's, and then my Twitch is Sith Auzy, no spaces, SITHAUZY, and that's pretty much it. That's like the only socials I really use when it comes to gaming.
All right, well, if you want to go watch this man hit some feeds or shit on some kids in Fortnite, by all means, make sure you hit him up and give him a follow. He streams, what do you stream, every other day or every day if you can?
One more thing, I got a shout out for my boy Soar Alistair, who recruited me to Sith.
So, all right, maybe Alistair will hook you up with Soar. You never know. I see you been hitting these clips out here, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, well, Dylan. Dylan's gonna be one of our active hosts here on the podcast, so you'll be hearing more of him. So, Austin, if you get free time, you can always stop by the podcast, maybe co-host. I know you're pretty busy.
I'll always be up in this.
Alrighty, well, thank you for anybody who is listening. This will probably be a weekly, podcast, maybe 2 times a week if we get enough recording done. So, guys, this has been fun, and I guess we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yes, sir.